I like the idea that if we ever had a Patreon and one of the perks that we offered people was the extended cut, like all the stuff before I've edited it. I like the idea that someone would pay like $5 a month just to get really uninteresting microphone setup shit at the start and really boring sort of outro stuff at the end.
Not too dissimilar from the show.
True. Gosh, you're going hard at that Mount Franklin over there. That's a 1.25.
Bruz. 1 second. I have had a filthy start to the day.
Filthy? Okay, fill me in. What's happened?
Well, let's. Where do we begin? I guess we begin at 11:30 because for some reason I just woke up at 11:30.
Okay, and for the listener at home, it is now 1:40, so you've been awake for 2 hours.
Not only that, like as you know, I've had sleep issues.
Yeah,
and can't sleep, past 6 a.m. usually. Inexplicably, this morning, 11:30.
Great.
I turned around. Lauren was like, I was like, what time is it? She was like, you're never going to believe this. And
this is a time you have never even heard of before. This is a number in an order that will blow your mind.
Yeah.
Start with an 11. What? And then keep going. Keep going halfway through.
My guess was 8.
Oh.
And I was like, I was thinking that would be good as far as my sleep goes. Sorry, I'm just doing. So
this is for context here. She's also in bed next to you.
Yeah. So
you roll over, and you're like, "Where am I? What's happened?" And she's like, "Stop! You're not going to believe this."
Exactly. Well, this is the thing, because she was giving me a little bit of like, well, Mr. Sleep In Pants over here.
Oh yeah.
But then I was thinking, well, you're still in bed too. What are you doing? I've got insomnia to blame this on.
Yeah. Then unfortunately there's that annoying card where they can play the old, well, I didn't want to disturb you by getting up, which is real.
Never stopped her before. Never stopped her before.
I am a very considerate partner in bed, I think. Like
Same.
I will slip out as carefully and quietly as possible.
You won't even know. Yeah.
Just like I'll wait. You know how when your partner's like in deep sleep, there's like the like there's a breath cycle to it. I'll wait for the noise of the breath, and then when the exhale is out and it's gone quiet again, I won't move. I'll freeze. It's like a game of like stoplight.
Perfect.
I am so nice. I get up very consistently. I get up around 9 o'clock every morning, every day of the week. KC will get up earlier for work days and sleep in way later on, weekends and things. So I'm very punctual, and I'll always get out very considerate. Today, he got up a little bit earlier because he was, someone was coming to pick something up.
Right.
And I was in bed and it was like 9:30, and it's a Sunday morning, and like I'm on my phone, I'm half awake because he got up, and I was already going to be awake then. And then several times he came back into the room and he grabs me by the shoulders and shakes me and says, "Get up! Get up!" just to like draw attention to the fact that I'm still in bed. It was like, yesterday I let you sleep into 11:45. But today it's 9:30, and yes, I'm still technically in bed.
So was it a joke?
It's teasing. He's not really trying to get me up, but he's just being shitty about it.
I honestly think
get out!
That relationship, just break up with it.
Just get it done. Yeah.
Yeah, that's abuse. That's child abuse for some reason.
Treating me like a child. It is very like big mum energy. Like, you're gonna miss the bus.
I know. Honestly, like Lauren gets up, slightly earlier than me for work.
Yeah.
And it will just be like, "Can I turn on the light?" I'm like, "What the
How dare you ask? How dare you even ask? The answer is clearly no, but I can't say no. So now you've forced me into this position where you're going to turn on the light anyway.
No, I'm the same as you. I'm very considerate. Anyway, so where was I? Oh yeah, so 11:30.
Yeah.
Now, not only I didn't have a big night or anything last night. Just stayed at home.
Okay.
On my computer. Went to bed at 12.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get that out the way.
Yeah,
just
context.
This is it wasn't a hungover situation.
Yeah.
And then I just
still
had it in
dry
my
June.
Well, it isn't.
Okay.
It is and it isn't. And then, so I just had it in my head as well that this pod was scheduled at 3:30 because when another little Patreon bonus here, folks.
This is only the good stuff.
Nick and I have started scheduling the podcast in our Google calendars.
Yes.
And so we do actually have an appointment. Like a real professional pod shot.
I sent an invite when I put it into the... I
just said pod shot for some reason.
Pod shot, that's actually quite clever. I'll send an invite when I put it in the calendar. So you have to click confirm and it's like a meeting.
It's very professional, and I do. I will start billing this to Booper as well, to make it a little bit more financially better in my pocket. But because we're in different time zones, it still comes up on my email as New Zealand time.
Yeah, and
I should know by now.
Yeah,
but
it's only when I'm reading 10 years.
When I'm reading the email. And I'm on the move, and I'm like, okay, 3:30. It's come up as 3:30. I'm like, cool.
I mean, I'm on the move.
In
your high-flying corporate lifestyle, you're glancing at all of the emails that come through. You're zipping from one boardroom to the next.
You sent it to me at like Friday night, and I was going to the grocery store.
You're on the move. Yeah, you don't have to explain anymore.
I'm a man about town.
Yeah.
And so then it came up as 3:30, but obviously that was New Zealand time because I was on the move. I just had it in my head that it was 3:30. So then I get the alert on my phone, and this is where it gets filthy, Nick.
Okay.
For the second week in a row, I had KFC for lunch.
Oh.
And I'm not a big KFC guy. And by the way, not just me, Lauren as well. And it was kind of all her idea.
Okay, so you've thrown your fiance under the bus there. I didn't even want it. It was actually her, and it would have been rude of me not to eat it.
We just are getting into KFC. Okay, it's really good. And
KC likes a KFC, and not just because his name is in the name.
Oh, I wouldn't have even put that together.
Yeah.
What's the F stand for?
I can't say that word on the pod.
You can. I can't.
You can, yeah.
And so I got the alert on my phone saying podcast in 30 minutes, Michael, and I was literally knee deep in chicken tenders. So I had to jump out and have a shower, and hence that was all to explain the 1.25 litre sparkling water.
Okay, because that'll help the KFC digestion process.
It's just refreshing as fuck, dude. Lightly sparkling with a bit of lime.
I love that for you. You. Can I tell you something uninteresting?
Oh, you always do, yeah.
We used to buy a little bit of the old sparkling water, spent a lot on those cans, nice flavors. A bit of a yuzu lime was a fave, a bit of a passion fruit, quite nice.
Very fancy, yeah.
It gets a bit expensive to just buy them in 6 cans all the time. So we're SodaStream people now. We're SodaStreamers.
I don't hate. SodaStream was the old, what air fryers became, people who identify by their appliances.
It was a brand. It's like having one of those what were those all-in-one cookers that like the super magic like whisk baker magic thing, like that there was a catering show episand about it, the magic cooker or whatever.
It certainly felt I played sports in high school.
Well, barely. The brand of owning the thing was almost like its own badge. It's like having a Gucci handbag. It's like, oh, you've got a kitchen mixer, there is something to be said for like appliance loyalty, appliance prestige.
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, people, but I mean, I'm not saying you're doing that, but I do like a SodaStream.
Yeah.
Going to the store and getting like a canister of gas is fun.
Yeah, going into like a hardware store and not feeling like a complete imposter. Yeah. Oh, you're here for some, some lumber or, screwdrivers, that kind of thing. No, I'm here for the bubbly water section.
Yeah.
Where do I get my lemonade syrup, please?
But you're still dressed in your flannel.
Still got overalls on, yeah.
No, love that for you.
Welcome to Deep Thought, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here in your ears on this pod in the planet we call Earth. Sitting through the internet with me, my friend Michael. Hello.
Hello, Governor.
And I'm Nick. Hi. Hello, hi.
Oh, we're silly today, boys.
I like it
We're
silly. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I like the idea that you're still two hours fresh in the morning. Like I'm impressed really at your coherence.
Me too. This makes it 2 morning shows in a row, really.
Yeah, I mean it is 1:50 p.m. But yes, sure.
As far as my body,
Yeah, it doesn't know any better. Yeah.
I mean, in that case, though, I did just eat KFC for breakfast.
Yeah,
this is not great.
No, we'll overlook that perhaps. Speaking of the F-bomb, can I? You've set me up here for a nice little segue here into a bit of recent news. Did you see this old Mikey boy? There's a headline here in Metro UK. Pope says there's an air of fagginess in Vatican, repeating a homophobic slur. Very nice sort of starter conversation for us. Pope Francis has once again used the term fagginess, despite apologizing for using the homophobic slur just days ago. The head of the Catholic Church is quoted as saying, "There's an air of fagginess in the room at behind closed doors meeting of Vatican priests." His comments come on the back of facing criticism last month when he apologized for using the same term, frociaggine, in Italian. He told the priest that it was better that young men with gay tendency not be allowed into the seminary.
Yep.
I would argue that young men with gay tendencies are probably quite seminary, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, I love this so much. What was the Italian word for it? I love that there's an equivalent.
Frociaggine.
Frociaggine.
Which is kind of got a sort of musicality to it, which I don't mind.
Yeah,
but I also
like
just like that the English translations and the news reporters are unafraid to like quote the Pope as saying fagginess, because that's an adjective that I don't really hear very often. Like you hear the slur, you hear faggy, but like fagginess, well, that's not an adjective, I guess that's a noun. But it's just like it's a different variant of it that's a little bit fresh, a little bit fun.
Yeah,
he's got a real fagginess to him.
Oh, it's never not funny.
It's never not.
I love that so much. And it also just implies there's so much here. It implies that he just says it as part of his vocabulary.
This is definitely not only the first and second time he's used it.
No. He's very comfortable with this word.
Yeah.
And he's thinking about it
a lot. You're actually crying.
I know. I love it. And I also love that there's an Italian translation. It's like it seems like the word that I'll not say it, know, in case the white police come after me.
If the Pope can say it.
I like that they're like, because that word came from a bundle of sticks or something, right? And then they used to throw gays on the fire or something, right?
Yeah.
So I like that there's like an epitomology or whatever that word is.
Etymology, right? Yeah.
Etymology. But then in Italy, they were like, no, we're going to need an equivalent.
Yeah. I guess, I mean, it's horrifying, but I guess it's like, we're doing this everywhere, we have our own word for it.
Like Italian's gone over to America, and he's gone, I'm going to bring that back. Because
it doesn't actually sound like a loan word, though. So I wonder what the actual etymology of the Italian word means. Like, it may not mean bundle of sticks, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, give it a goog.
Give it a quick goog. It's an F pejorative in the Italian language, which roughly translates to the derogatory term. While the word literally means a bundle of sticks. Oh, it is the same thing. While the word literally means a bundle of sticks and was carry... Wait, are they talking about the English word? I'm just going to put it in Google Translate. Just going to see.
I love that we're just doing a deep dive on the word. That's fun.
Italian. So
got
many
the giggles
words
today, Nick.
Oh.
What is it?
So the translation from... Oh, I'm going to listen to it pronounced. Frociaggine. The Italian the Italian word is correct, and then the English in Google Translate says faggot, but with one G, or faggothood, which fagot, which doesn't feel like it's giving me the information I want. Anyway, so something that you can all Google in your own time.
Call in if you know.
Call in.
Focaccia. What is it?
Focaccia.
Sounds delicious.
It sounds like a lovely gelato.
Show. Yeah,
like a nice like fruity gelato.
Yeah. Well.
Yes.
Your words, not mine.
Yeah.
Anyway. Jizz. So that was fun.
Cut it out, Popey.
I mean, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I think leave it in.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it in the pod. I'm going to tell him to cut it out.
If it's not the frappuccino, then it's going to be something else, Nick. I think let him have that one.
Yeah.
He's like,
to be fair to the guy, he has been slightly more moderate than some of the others. So he has said publicly, who am I to judge, when asked about gay people. He's told a trans person that even if they are sinners, God draws near to help them, and make other comments like they can be baptized in the church as long as doing so does not cause a scandal or confusion. So really pushing the church forward into the 21st century.
Leading the way,
a shining beacon for all to follow.
I love that they're like the Catholic Church, or maybe like all religions, but they're like the companies that are trying to piggyback off, social change, social movements. Like Pepsi, the Catholic Church is like the Pepsi commercial with
Kendall Jenner and Kylie Jenner.
Yeah.
One of them.
That's what they constantly are with their stances
We'll stop police violence with this can of soft drink.
Yeah, it's okay to sit next to a gay person at an airport. Wow.
Yeah. Catholic Church says you're allowed to be in the vicinity. Just not if there's like an air of fagginess around.
Yes. But autism's a sin.
Yeah,
autism is the devil.
We've got to take our wins where they come, I suppose.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of wins,
yeah.
A lot of love from the last episode.
Oh,
towards me.
Oh,
not from anyone in my family. But just like people reaching out.
Yeah,
and saying they really liked the last episode, and evidently people just like it when I talk about my daddy issues.
Okay, great.
So thanks for those messages, and
this was with regards to the approval. We were talking about approval and external validation versus internal validation, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
I had quite a few people, including your dad.
Okay, well, let's hope that doesn't make anything complicated for you.
What are we talking about today, by the way?
Well, I think we'll get to some random political news in a minute, but just to follow that up, if people want to listen to that soundtrack that you did for that short film, is there anywhere that they can find it?
Oh, yeah, I just got the artwork today, so it'll be up next week. Maybe by the next one.
By the next one. Okay.
I'll plug it then.
So keep an eye out on streaming services, I guess.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hot off the press, that one.
Hot off the press. We could talk political stuff. I feel like we're just going to have a chit-chatty kind of one, and I'm okay with that.
Let's just have a chit-chat. We can chit-chat about political.
Yeah. So in recent history for us was the debate stuff with Trump Bides. You were sending some inflammatory text to me in the aftermath of that, saying that you would vote for Trump.
100%. Trump knocked it out the park. He was amazing. He lied a lot, but he just on pure aesthetics and and vibe. Trump was amazing, and he had just like a couple of great one-liners. Biden was he was a corpse on there. He was mumbling, blah blah blah. We've talked about it. But at one point, Trump was just looking at Biden, stuttering over his own words, and then he goes, "I don't know what he said," and he just said, "And I don't think he knows what he just said." I mean, this is just gold. I mean, beautiful stuff. So yes, I'm a big Trump guy now. I would 100% vote for Trump. I will
That
be
is a
voting for Trump.
terrible thing to even joke about.
Nope, not a joke. I am voting for Donald Trump in 2024.
You are not.
Yes, I am.
No, you are not. This is
I'm
absurd.
getting a green card just to vote for Trump.
Okay, well, I think they have a whole thing about immigrants and crossing the border, so you might not actually get there in time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but they like white immigrants, baby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the debate performance thing. Sorry, by performance I mean the charade of doing a debate where, by most metrics, it doesn't actually tend to be either predictive of the outcome of an election or indeed particularly persuasive of people who are watching it.
Yeah.
That aside, the way that the debate was structured so that there was no real-time fact-checking or use of the moderators to, counter, as you said, endless lies, just seems such a blatant waste of journalistic duty, right?
Have they ever done real-time fact-checking?
I mean, there are other networks that do. I think CNN skews a bit more like newstainment than real sort of hardcore news. So there were other bodies that were live blogging or whatever alongside the debate and performing that fact-checking duty, PolitiFact and that sort of thing, which does, I suppose, move the needle a little bit, but it's very different to have a third-party source that you have to go check afterwards to be like, who was telling the truth, versus the actual debate moderators in the moment being like, but that's not true. Why do you let a candidate say things unfiltered? If you're not what's the point of it then? If you're just going to allow lies?
Yes, I agree. They could even just do like a little ticker down the bottom. Maybe.
Yeah, there are so many mechanisms. You can have the thing and then you cut away and give them an ad break or whatever, and then you cut to the studio and you have someone there ready who's had the time off camera to prepare data and stuff to respond to the statements that have been made. It's very straightforward. It's a solved problem.
I guess if you just for regular people that could work. Regular politicians, but if Trump's firing off like 4 lies a minute, there's just not enough time.
Yeah, and it's like
they're overloaded.
It's a strategy, right? Like it's like flood the zone with misinformation at such a volume that even Biden, if you relied on Biden to treat it like an actual debate, right? In a way where historically, if you had two rational but politically opposed candidates facing off on each other, traditional debate rules allow for that kind of thing. So someone makes a statement and then the other party gets a response time and you can go back and rebut it. And, there's a structure there which helps that out. But when Trump's, as you say, dropping 4 lies a minute, there's no time, there's no asset availability for Biden to even get through all the shit he needs to rebut.
Yeah, it's kind of genius because they're still trying to play the regular game, the Democrats, but Trump is playing a completely different game, and that's why he's there. That's why he's there for the fucking 8th year since this whole 2016 shit started.
Yeah.
Why is this the 3rd time Trump is on that stage? Because he's playing his own game, and they're still trying to play the other game. So I think it works. I was just going to ask you a question.
Yeah, please.
Do you think that you said that, it's a strategy of Trump to just overload with misinformation and smokescreen, whatever. Do you think that's how he thinks about it? You don't think he believes his own lies? Or he doesn't even think of them as lies? Or does he just not? He's just like, this, I'll just say this and who cares?
I think that there is no such thing in his brain as truth, as objective truth. I think there is just the things that he wants to believe. And I think if he wants to believe that he is, he was cheated out of an election or that there is this threat out there, that is what reality is to him.
Yeah, it's almost like a self-preservation thing from ego.
100%. It is in terms of the political side of it. Like, everyone else is attacking me and I'm perfect. That's an ego thing. But then also the reality distortion thing is such that the people who support him and who believe, for instance, that immigrants are coming to take their jobs or whatever, if that's what everyone who loves him says, then he's incentivized to say those things too, because then the nice people keep saying the things that he wants to hear, So I think some of it is like osmosis. But I think originally, like way back, he was more liberal. He was more of a Democrat, and then there's been that slide over time until he was running as a Republican. So I think there was a point at which he stopped. I wouldn't say he was ever like idealistic, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He was just self-preservation, narcissistic.
Yeah. Didn't he say that when he was, younger, that if he were to run for president, he'd run as a Republican because they're the only ones they're stupid or something like that?
That's vaguely familiar, but I don't remember it offhand.
Yeah. What were you looking up?
I was trying to look up. I think it was called like the GIS strategy, or I think it's GIS, but I was trying to find it. It was a description of that debate tactic of flooding the zone with misinformation in a debate. Like, it's an actual stratagem, and so it was being discussed a lot recently. It's not GIS, but I was just trying in the background to see if I could find it, but I haven't successfully been able to.
Okay. Did you end up watching any? Did you watch highlights and stuff?
Yeah, I saw some highlights. I saw some of the moments. I mean, I don't blame people for thinking that Biden had a bad night. I think he was off his game, clearly. I think that anyone who then is calling for his resignation, I think is going, as in for him to step down from the candidacy, I think is going way too far. And there's actually, I did bring up some data here in preparation for this.
I brought no data, just so you know, guys.
Okay. So we're firmly in our lanes. So, there was the New York Times, what do they call them? The editorial board called for him to step aside. Time put out that cover, which is, just a red thing with him walking off stage that says panic. There's a lot of sort of like op-ed media coverage saying this is time for him to step aside. But when you actually look at the data as how the viewers and voters responded, a post-debate poll of likely voters completely overturns this sort of narrative from the political class here. The data shows that the Democrats are running the strongest ticket available, and that the majority of Democratic voters are in agreement that Biden should stay and run for president. The data also suggests that replacing Biden at this time could boost RFK Jr. into contention, which is
hell yeah,
such
love RFK Jr.
a gamble at the best of times.
He's awesome.
Biden versus Trump and Harris versus Trump are basically neck and neck. 45% likely voters to Biden and Harris, and 48% to Trump. All of the other Democratic candidates, like theoretically Buttigieg, Booker, Newsom, all that kind of stuff, are under that. They're 44, 43 down there. And similarly, the likelihood that they would then result in a Trump vote decreases. Effectively, what that means is that there is more uncertainty the further down the Democratic ticket you go. So that proportion of unsure voters currently with Biden is 7%. If you were to throw like Klobuchar in there or Newsom or whatever, it's about 10 to 12%. So,
right. So that's somewhat surprising to me, I think.
Yeah.
Because Buttigieg, he's got a bit going for him, doesn't he? Like,
yeah,
surely
he's very well spoken. He's young.
Future president.
Unfortunately, big risk it.
Big
because he's
Fragile.
Yes, I don't know how well mainstream America would cope with the idea of voting for a gay president. They haven't yet put a woman in the seat, so
no,
we'd see.
Yeah, how about that Kamala Harris? But she must be the most unremarkable vice president since Mike Pence.
I think that's unfortunate they haven't been able to put her forward a bit more, so that voters get to know her a bit. But I think I think that she's the obvious next in line, right?
Yeah.
Um,
She
but let me
annoys
also
me.
just touch back on what I said earlier. Uh, a majority of Democratic likely voters still think Joe Biden should stay in the race. That number is decreasing over time, but it's still more than 50%. Um, and then the other factoid was if Biden dropped out, most people would want Kamala Harris to step in. All the
They
others would. So the second preference, if it's not Biden, would be Kamala Harris at 39%, which is twice as much, or more than twice what Gavin Newsom gets at 18, and Pete Buttigieg is only 10. So he's not very high up there in the list.
Did RFK run it as an independent this time?
Yeah, I think he
was a Democrat and then ran as an independent.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't think that he's being treated with very much seriousness.
I really like his stance on aliens.
What about his stance on brainworms?
Don't know about that. But aliens, the alien stuff really gets my vote.
What's his stance on aliens?
Let the people know. Open up Area 51.
Open it up, as in let people go visit it.
Well, I don't know. I'm just making that up.
Okay,
but, sure. He's spoken about it. He's big on UFOs and stuff. So that's the most important thing to me. That's the most important issue.
you want the most alien friendly presidential candidate, who at the moment is the person who had a brainworm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we know where your priorities lie.
He's also married to He's also married to Larry David's wife in Curb Your Enthusiasm in real life.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Wait.
The actress, is RFK's wife.
Wait.
Cheryl,
what's her face?
His wife.
RFK Jr.'s wife.
Yeah.
No fucking
I know,
way. Cheryl
dude.
Hines.
I know. It's
Holy
crazy.
Shit. What?
It's amazing. He's quite a good looking guy, I gotta say.
They've been married for 10 years?
Dude, she's a Kennedy now.
That is crazy.
I know.
That is not where I expected.
Another reason to vote. He's also very
He
hard
was
to
throwing
listen
out
to.
a lot of fucking crazy shit. I wonder if she's just like, yes, dear. Or if there's like some weird...
She is, because she's been on shows to support him.
But does she believe the shit that he comes out with?
Well, I think she does. I don't know. I don't care. She's hot. He's hot.
Like, good for them? Is that your takeaway?
Tough stance on aliens. Let's go.
Oh, God.
That's all we need.
Oh, all the
he is very tough to listen to.
Nonsense.
He does all the podcasts. Does all the cool podcasts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where's he popping up?
Tiger Belly, Theo Vaughn, these kind of shows.
Okay, great.
He's like a cool guy.
Just looking at some of the headlines here about RFK Jr.'s scandals. Invoked Hitler when speaking out against vaccine mandates.
Well.
Quote, even in Hitler Germany, you could cross the Alps into Switzerland. You could hide in an attic like Anne Frank did.
Yeah. Good point.
God. Suggested COVID was designed to spare Jews and Chinese people.
Clearly was.
He claimed it was designed to disproportionately attack certain races and spare Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese people, who he said are most immune.
Yep. Thanks, China.
Blamed gender dysphoria on chemicals in the environment.
Pretty obvious.
Obvious there. Believes the 2004 presidential election was stolen.
Yep. It was.
Spread conspiracies about JFK's death. He's continued to promote the unfounded theory that the CIA killed his uncle.
Everyone knows that. And also he's related, so he would know.
Oh, here's a good one. Speaking to comedian Bill Maher on an episode of the podcast Club Random, Kennedy linked an increase in school shootings to the increased prescription of antidepressants.
Antidepressants. Yeah.
Oh.
Makes sense.
God, America's fucked, isn't it? Just fucked.
I mean, that sounded pretty good to me.
Okay. So. I mean, all of the Supreme Court stuff at the moment is incredibly depressing.
What's that? Is that the abortions?
Well, they did that, but at the moment it's like decision time. So this time every year they come through and they announce their decisions on a whole bunch of cases they've had on the docket. One of the ones which has been delayed incredibly long has been a decision about the insurrection stuff, which has just given Trump more time later and later into the thing before that court case was going to kick off.
Yep.
But then there was stuff this year removing the ability of federal bodies to set to administer a law and to decide, for instance, like if you're the EPA, what a safe level of chemicals in the water is. They've removed that ability of the federal government to determine those kind of informations, which is a massive, massive consequence. So it will now effectively place the Supreme Court above the other two branches of power, effectively, and let them decide this random shit all for themselves, which has a lot of people noticeably upset, because currently it's a very political court with all kinds of bribery and corruption and lack of precedent and everything. So, yeah.
Wow.
It is it's a real shit show now in terms of their democracy.
You know what? I just realized that insurrection sounds like erection.
Okay, cool. So focusing on the important things is the takeaway.
Well, is that a coincidence? Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But I'm asking. We ask questions.
Insurrection.
I've got an insurrection in my pants.
Okay. And it happens once a year on January 6th.
The Capitol.
In the Capitol. Storm the Capitol. Gosh.
Oh, so silly. Could not be sillier.
God.
I'm not high. I just want to.
Yeah, you're high from late sleep.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, you know when you wake, it's the same sort of mood you have when you have like a 3-hour nap in an afternoon, and then you wake up and it's like 6 p.m. and it's night, and your body's like, I don't know what the fuck we're doing. I was just asleep, but now it's evening. How many hours of sunlight did we see today?
Yeah, it's like going to school.
Yeah,
like on the day before holidays. It's like, what are we doing?
Can I just have one more note here on the
all right, but one more and that's it.
One more note on the debate thing. In the immediate aftermath, Biden raised $27 million. They had the single best hour of fundraising in their history as a result of the fundraiser. So it has actually been a financial boon for them, and hopefully that can allow them to get some better messaging out there in the future.
All right. We'll put up a link to so people can donate.
Yeah, please donate. Please donate to the Biden campaign. He did seem like immediately, like the next day, his speech and everything at campaign rallies was noticeably better.
Yeah, I mean, he's what? Is he 90? 82?
He's not 90. Yeah,
I don't know. He looks 90. He looks. I mean, my grandma is 90, and she's more coherent than him for sure.
By all accounts, he is an old man who's likely to fumble over some words. He's famously had a stutter, but he's also a good man and a rational man. And I think anyone who's seriously torn up about which way to vote at this election is truly out of sync with the real perils ahead for that country.
Yeah, probably. But maybe they just want some fun.
Yes.
Which we all do. What about Assange? Now, I still don't know if I'm meant to be for Assange or against him.
Yeah, I'm. It's been a while here. Part of it is he was. I think I'm for him, by the way. Shit, right? Wait, what?
I think I'm pro. I meant that seriously. Like, I think it's an interesting one because people don't know how they should feel about it because they're told it just typifies how, you know, the media and how social media helps people to think. You know, even like the Israel-Palestine stuff, people know what they should think at this point, you know?
Do you feel that's true?
Yes.
With Israel-Palestine specifically, you think people know how they should think?
I think, I think I mean young people, like young inner city people know what side they need to be on.
Need to by social
yes
pressure and allegiance.
Right.
But do you think that there are people who are supporting that solely because of the social side of things rather than, if you like, a objective assessment of the situation?
I believe that, yeah. I think not all the people, but I do think that does exist.
Right.
It's like trendy. Anyway, I didn't mean to bring up Israel Palestine, but with Assange, it's tough because it's not clear what it is. Like, so, it seems like he's for freedom, but then he's also put the country's security at risk, which is an issue. As much as you want to be like, oh, fuck the government, it is. They do have secrets. They do need to have secrets. But then also there was like rape stuff floating around.
The sexual assault thing, which is what the arrest warrant was for.
Right. They don't say that in the media.
Well, I think there's a bit of an assumption now because that was over nearly 14 years ago. So I guess the assumption is that you know who Assange is by now. But you're right. I mean, the WikiLeaks thing, interesting, because in like a vacuum, the idea that there is a place for government or military sources to supply potentially controversial documents for the sake of whistleblowing. You can understand from a journalistic side of things why that's a valuable thing, but then there is the counter of it, which is like, but you're talking about soldiers in Afghanistan and Iraq wars and things, and potentially putting not just individuals' lives at risk, but broadly the nations and the military goals for the sake of world stability. You can see the risks of both sides of it.
Sure. So where are we at with Julian? Did you see that video of him? I think this is real. I hope it was. But he was the night he got out, he went to a club.
Really?
Yeah, and there's video of him dancing to like techno music.
I didn't see that.
I will send it to you. It's very strange, and he's the only one on the dance floor.
Okay, weird.
Yeah, it was on Brown Cardigan.
I think it's interesting because as well, there's like and this is just independent of maybe you can't even reasonably draw this distinction, but in a vacuum, we tend to have an allegiance for an underdog, right? And I think the idea that this guy found this kind of loophole where he went and like hung out in the Ecuadorian embassy for 3 years and just sort of camped there.
Yeah.
And then that asylum was withdrawn, and then he got like arrested and then just incarcerated in London for 5 years.
So weird when you think about it.
Yeah. And then so what happened this week was a plea deal with US prosecutors. He pled guilty to an Espionage Act charge of conspiring to obtain and disclose classified US national defense documents. They sought a sentence that allowed for his immediate release because he'd then already spent 5 years in prison.
Yeah, retroactively. Yeah, it's so weird. And I think I saw a document. I can't remember when the documentary was, but he was kind of a prick in that embassy. There was footage of him in the embassy kind of talking to the housekeepers like, shit.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't seem like a very nice person.
He sounds like an absolute freak.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't really want to hang out with him one-on-one.
No. I'm trying to find here the sexual assault allegations as well.
So did he get convicted of that?
Beginning in 2010, Assange contested legal proceedings in the United Kingdom concerning the extradition of him to Sweden for a preliminary investigation into accusations of sexual offences made in August 2010 when he was visiting the country. Assange left Sweden for the UK and was arrested in his absence the same day, suspected of rape to a lesser degree, unlawful coercion, and multiple cases of sexual molestation.
What? Multiple?
Yeah. So then
was he blaming
he protested his innocence in the matter. He said it was a successful smear campaign and a very wrong one. He claimed the Swedish extradition proceedings were actually an attempt to get him into a jurisdiction that can extradite him to the US. And the Swedish prosecutors denied that, saying the case had nothing to do with WikiLeaks.
It is a pretty good defense in his position. It's like, yeah, that's the government trying to take me down.
Yeah.
And people would be, that's easy to buy almost.
Yeah. You can see a way if you're conspiratorial about the government's behavior that finding another avenue. It's like the old tax fraud for what's his face, our mob boss friend, the mafia. Capone, thank you. Capone being done for tax rather than for like all of the mob shit. Right. You can see if you're that way inclined how believable it might be that the government will find something else to arrest you for then. But
yeah,
I don't think that Sweden really had much of a stake in that matter, to be honest.
He's a Melbourne boy, isn't he?
Well, he's in Canberra now, I think. He moved to Canberra.
What's he going to do?
What do you do?
You can't really hide in Canberra, I don't think.
He's got a look as well. Like he's got an
snowy
aesthetic.
Maybe he's trying to camouflage in the mountains, snowy mountains.
Yeah, I mean, you say you're on his side a little bit.
I don't know. I guess so. I don't really know.
Just in terms of the underdog thing, perhaps.
Yeah, I guess just like the bringing information, unearthing secrets is just fun. I guess it also comes back to UFOs because sometimes part of me is like,
if Assange had a platform of I'm going to release the Area 51 docs, you'd be right on his side.
So I think I need to be supportive.
Sure. I mean, it is an interesting question. Where do you stand on the idea of national security versus public knowledge? Do you accept that there are some things that the government shouldn't tell its citizens?
100%. Like I do. That is, it's obvious, but I also just want to know them as well.
You want not everyone to know them, but you want you personally to know them.
Philosophically, the government 100% should have secrets.
Yeah.
But practically, I don't care. I would rather know.
I do feel like a lot of what happens at that level, I'm not like clued in enough to the operations of the government to understand it. So like, even if someone sent me a classified document that was like a huge bombshell, I'd look at it and be like, I don't understand what this is.
You'd have to put it into
Can someone else do this?
Say, what, is there anything that I should be
So someone said something to what? With a diplomat? Where?
How many times is UFOs mentioned in
Control
this document?
F. Nothing. Well, Control F UAP. Maybe they no, still nothing. Yeah,
you don't want to dead name UFOs.
Julian, you can take this one.
Yeah. Triage it for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly, Nick, don't think about it that much.
Okay.
That question.
Sure. Anyway.
You say tar a lot, and you said that to me the other day in a text, and I thought, I've never said tar.
Oh.
So anyway, we never were a tar family.
You weren't. What did people say?
They didn't say I love you. I can tell you that right now. Tar and I love you were not.
Yeah, banned.
That's not actually banned. Yeah. What did we say? I don't know. Thanks.
Ugh,
what does tar mean? Is tar short for thanks?
Tar is just a thank you. Yeah, an acknowledgement of.
But does it come from thanks?
I don't know where it came from. Probably.
It sounds kind of like European.
Someone says tar and then they just shortened it a bit more. Sorry, what was that?
I just made it up. Yeah.
You have a science news for me?
Oh yeah, all right. You want it?
Yeah, play this fucking jingle.
Wait. How do you do it?
Just press the button.
Press the button. Oh.
Just press. See on the left hand side the menu that says science news jingle.
Oh yes.
Double click that.
All right. Click.
It's that time. Time for science news.
All right. So this one, I'm doing science news this week. I'm the science guy now. Okay,
and instilling confidence in the audience already.
Nailing it so far.
I'm science boy this week.
So this is actual science, Nick.
Okay.
Okay, because I know what you're thinking. It's going to be something about...
It's going to be weird news. It's going to be seance news. It's going to be all the other stuff.
It's going to be something about testicles. And you'd be right, because scientists have found microplastics
in the human testicles.
Nick, this is not your time to talk. A new study has revealed microplastics have also seeped their way into men's reproductive organs. The testicles of 23 men were posthumously tested in America, and microplastics were found in every single person. What does this mean? Fuck! I've gotten the wrong.
What does this mean? Fuck!
Oh no! I got the podcast. Oh shit! Sorry for the bumps. I got the fucking. This is why I don't do it. I've got up the radio show, so it was just a.
Do you want the link? Because I have to hear it. Okay.
No, I fuck off, Nick. Did you put? Did you have this down? Fuck off. I'm the science guy. Oh fucking! You do it, because.
No. I'll just send you the link.
This is embarrassing. Is it The Guardian?
It's The Guardian, yeah.
I've got it. Okay.
Okay.
Take 2.
No, this is still take 1. All this is in.
Microplastics. Oh, I've already done that. Fuck. I'm so bad at science news. I'm legit nervous now.
Okay. Just think of everyone in their underwear.
I'm just thinking about microplastics. Okay. The scientists tested 23 human tests as well as testes, as well as 47 testes from pet dogs. They found microplastic pollution in every sample. The human testicles had been preserved, and so their sperm count could not be measured. However, the sperm count in the dog's testes could be assessed and was lower in samples with higher contamination with PVC. What the fuck is PVC, Nick?
It's plastic. It's a PVC pipe.
Great. The study demonstrates a correlation, but further research is needed to prove microplastic cause sperm counts to fall.
Sorry, what just happened then?
I was just trying to work
do
out if
some
it was boring.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you do now? You usually ask me a question. So, Nick, I'll just stop the article there. Have you ever thought about? I don't even know what question I would ask. Does this worry you? Does this worry you that there's PVC in your testes?
Well, I'm pretty used to it because there's a pipe down there already.
Sorry, I just choked on cum.
This is a crazy science news that I'm loving every second of it. I had this on my list. I'm glad that you brought it up. It is definitely worrying, but it's also completely understandable to me. Like, yes. Not surprised there's microplastics everywhere. I have another actual microplastics link here from earlier in the year, saying that, in fact, I'll just briefly click it. Landmark study links microplastics to serious health problems. People who had tiny plastic particles lodged in a key blood vessel were more likely to experience heart attacks, strokes, and death. During a 3-year study. So they're already finding it in the heart as well. So they're just about everywhere. They're ending up in the environment off of, food packaging and tires and clothes and shedding tiny little particles that we're then just inhaling and ingesting, and it's getting stuck in our bodies. So it's in our hearts and it's causing heart attacks and strokes. It's going to be in our testes and clearly linked by the sounds of it to the declining fertility problems that we've been talking about.
So this is the thing. Like, I can't help but think about the fish in the ocean that get cut open, and then there's all this plastic in there.
Yeah.
That's the visual that's in my head. Not accurate, but it's there. But then there's it's making me mistrust everything. Even this bottle of water that I've been sipping out of this whole show.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're fucking getting into ruining my testicles.
I just dribbled water all over my keyboard and my microphone. But I was holding up my metal flask, which is for exactly that reason, trying to stop drinking out of plastic bottles.
Bet there's still micro metals in there, Nick.
Well, look, micrometals,
mix.
I think, will just give me superpowers, whereas I think the plastics are making everything else a little bit more deadly.
Very worrying. Then there's the phone thing,
The phone thing?
Well, people say if you have the phone in the pocket, that causes your.
That's not true.
Well, it's
No, that's not based on anything.
well.
No,
RFK
don't
said
just
it,
keep saying
so-
the brainworm said it, and Cheryl Himes repeated it, that it's killing off all of the sperm. Yeah.
Just back to the end of this article, the human testicles had a plastic concentration almost 3 times higher than in the dogs. So the dogs, everyone criticizes dogs and judges dogs for eating shit and doing being disgusting.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Not getting as
not getting
much plastic
microplastics in their bowls.
Yeah. So
So
maybe we should
there's-
eat more shit off the ground like they do.
Maybe they should be walking us.
Yeah. Yeah. Clearly that's the takeaway. Well, I mean, I think we've had either discussions previously, or at least it's been on the list for a while, the idea of sperm count zero, right? The global decline of sperm concentrations, which I think there was news here. I've had this article saved for a little while, but they've been trying to work out why the sperm concentrations are decreasing. A new analysis of 25 studies of pesticides shows a clear connection. So
Vegetables.
It may be connected to the way we're producing our food and the use of pesticides around it. Men who had been exposed to certain classes of pesticides had significantly lower sperm concentrations. This is a study that included data from more than 1,700 men and spanned several decades. No matter how we looked at the analysis and results, we saw a persistent association between increasing levels of insecticide and decreasing in sperm concentration. So I think the takeaway here is that literally everything about how we're living our lives at the moment, from the use of cheap plastics, from the lack of protections we have for industries and what goes into our rivers and that sort of thing, and the way that we're treating all of our food and transporting it on the roads. The roads are with huge trucks with big tires that are degrading onto the road and washing over. They're carrying fruit and vegetables that we've sprayed with insecticides that are going into our stores. There's just no way to fucking avoid it. What can you do?
No, there's no. You can't even go to an island and live like Tom Hanks in Castaway, because there's no more. There's no more undiscovered
There's no more islands.
places.
This is the big takeaway here, Michael, and I'm glad you've honed in on it. We don't have any little islands for people to go hang out on anymore.
No, you can't live off the land.
Can't live off rainwater and coconuts like you used to.
The good old days, baby.
Yeah. You crack open a coconut these days and it's got a fucking 6-pack plastic tie on the middle.
Yeah, and like a iPhone.
And that's actually helpful on an island. That really can solve some problems for you.
Not if you want to get off the grid.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, great, a phone.
I mean, what can you do as an individual though? This is one of those things where it's hey, CFCs are destroying the ozone layer.
Yeah.
You can stop using them, but until the government comes in and says we're not allowed to use CFCs anymore, it's just going to consistently happen. So until everyone goes, no more plastics in our day-to-day lives, no more insecticides which are causing sperm counts to decrease, then there's nothing you can do.
Honestly, just give up is my advice.
Just give up.
Literally, just give up. Yeah. Stop caring about climate change. Stop caring about microplastics in testicles. Stop caring about whether your dad has listened to your film score. Just stop doing any of that stuff and just eat plastic. Inject plastic into your testicles for all I care.
Yeah, a bit of filler. Give it a bit of
You will
lift.
be happier. Everyone will be happier while we just hurtle towards
oblivious.
And it's just we're spending a lot of time worrying. Who cares?
Okay.
Probably our grandkids will care more.
Well, you won't have any because you won't have any sperm left. So it's fine.
Exactly.
It's fine.
It's actually
solves
actually
itself.
perfect. It's actually perfect.
If you've enjoyed this episode of
I
Bleak
have.
Nihilism, then that's
certainly
very
have.
kind of you. Why don't you listen to some more of our episodes and see if they compare? You can find plenty in the podcast feed. And once you've had that experience, why don't you get in touch with us? Send us your thoughts and your comments to deepfort@gmail.com. Reach out to us on Instagram, on Facebook, on Messenger, on Trello. You can rate us on Spotify. You can rate us on Apple Podcasts. And you can just go about your life with a little bit more awareness that everything we eat, do, and consume is contributing to the end of the planet.
Yeah.
Can I two small things? I do think get yourself a metal flask.
Oh my God, look at this.
You put up
Wow.
peace fingers and sparkling confetti fell over the Skype call.
Okay. Oh.
Get yourself a metal. Okay, wow. Okay, I'll give Michael just 30 seconds to go through all of the different new.
I'm
reactions.
that coworker that's just discovered reaction.
Don't do it for me.
I'm done.
Get yourself a metal flask. I think the other thing which Casey has brought into our household, which I really am used to now, is a water filter. Just a water. Get yourself a 2-liter water with a replaceable filter in it. Sit it on the bench or in your fridge, and then just fill it up with tap water and let it filter, because that'll be getting all that shit out of there.
And my advice is give up.
Just get a
6-pack of bottles of Coca-Cola, not even Coke Zero.
Yeah.
Just put it in your fridge. The plastic ones, not the glass ones either.
Yeah, the 600 mils.
A lot of giggle, a lot of endorphins this
I'm glad.
episode, Nick.
I'm glad.
So many. Oh, the giggles. So many
I feel
giggles.
satisfied as well, because I feel like there we actually effectively crossed off 3 science newses all at once. They're on my little list there. We had the microplastics from you. We had the heart microplastic strokes thing there from me.
Yeah.
This is effective. I feel
Doesn't
like
matter from who. Doesn't matter from who.
Doesn't matter. Well, you know.
That's what happens when I do science news, Nick. I'm efficient.
A fidget?
I'm a fidget, okay? What else have we got?
Well, Michael, let's ruin that happy mood of yours and let's get out of this laughter and giggles. Let's get down into the real gritty business of the day.
All right.
Give me some myths.
All right. I am literally miffed to the nines. Okay.
Wait. I didn't set that up properly because we need to put the jingle somewhere.
Okay. Well, just do it here. If I can. I don't give a fuck where the jingle goes. Michael's miffed, annoyed, displeased, riled up, offended, aggrieved, irritated, chagrined, pissed off, put out, resentful, and piqued, discontented. Michael's miffed.
Okay, continue.
All right. So, how do you like this? Do you go to trivia nights?
I
ever?
have been. I haven't recently, but yeah, I like a trivia.
Seems like
I
your
get quite
crew-
competitive.
Yeah, you'd be. I wouldn't want to be on your team, or
No,
not
you
on your
would
team.
want to be on my team.
No, I wouldn't actually.
Do you like winning or do you like being shit?
Don't care about winning that much, but what I do care about is people who do care about winning being on my
well,
team.
then you will get to experience that up close.
I like Lauren and I'd like to do the Saturday quiz every week. It's nice, and we
Wait,
don't,
in the paper or at a pub?
it's an app that I pay for. It's the best quiz in my
Okay.
opinion. Anyway, we went to the anyway.
I thought you were talking about pub trivia.
I was.
Okay.
I got
Got distracted.
distracted by myself.
Okay.
Anyway, so team trivia at the pub. This is my myth. Teams that still use like Quiz as Jizz as the team name. Oh,
yeah.
Quiz on my face. We're done with this.
We're past
We are
that.
done
Yeah,
with
the
Quiz
bar has been raised.
as Jizz. Okay. Quiz is not Jizz anymore.
Quiz is not jizz anymore. You heard it here first.
Episode title.
Episode title?
No context until the end.
I can't possibly put Quiz is not jizz as the episode title, Michael.
Wouldn't it be beautiful though? It was like, what the hell is this title? And then
Are you
people,
like listening through
the
like
one person
political
that stays at
discussion,
the end. Yeah.
Supreme Court?
It's like, oh, there. Okay,
Oh, we
that
found
makes
it.
sense.
It's like the Egg Walkers one, which was about 1 hour and 10 minutes into
yeah.
that podcast before we
About
discovered
sexual
what the fuck that
assault.
was. Oh, it was. It was. Yeah, that was that was a long one.
Yeah, so if you're doing team trivia, no more quiz as jizz, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, what was your team name? What do you reckon a safe? Where are the safe zones still? Where's there room to grow?
Okay, great question. I like to go. It depends what type of trivia it is. As in, if there is like a bit of room to kind of push the envelope, then I like to go hard. Not in a sexual way. I like to lean into some sort of like inappropriateness.
Okay.
And usually that will involve some sort of pedophilic.
What? That's where you go?
Yeah. Or like my priest's, I don't know, erection or something like that.
Okay.
But, that has also gotten me into trouble, believe it or not.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. So usually I just let people, someone else decide.
Okay.
What have you got? Is this
I
you go to?
I don't have a stand-in. Like a standard one I go to. But I've got a few here that I'll throw at you, and you tell me if you think they're good or not.
Okay. Wait, where are these from?
The internet. I just Googled.
Okay.
Les Quizzerables.
That is so good. Write that down, please. Someone, wait, you're not my secretary.
What about Quiztima Aguilera?
What's great? They're not
bad.
Jizz. It's not
They're
jizz.
not jizz.
So
They're not
it's
jizz.
still allowed.
Yeah. Quizzy Rascals. Yeah. Anyway.
That's great. Like
then there are some
with the umlaut as well. Oh. Anyway, this is not quiz round. This is miff round. Wait, miff? What is this called? Miff? Michael's miffed.
Trivia Newton-John.
Pretty good. All right, I'm moving on from this.
Okay, sure.
All right, the second myth. Recipe serving sizes.
Recipe serving sizes. Go ahead.
Yes. So let's say you're making a curry using a recipe, and they'll say this serves 6. They are always overestimating how many serve sizes there are, and it throws me off.
I agree.
I just halve it. If it says 6, I go, that's going to be 2 serves.
That's not that's not halving, Michael.
Well,
yeah, this is probably demonstrating your quiz team contributions as well. Why you perhaps get annoyed at people who know the answers to things.
Well, the myth, it doesn't affect the myth. Okay, the myth still stands. Recipe serving sizes. Stop overestimating.
Yeah.
I can't even tell which one it is.
Yeah.
It's annoying. What else? Oh, I really
What else?
I hate when people say yourself and they use it interchangeably with you. They go, "Oh, how about yourself?" It always just I hate it.
What's that one about?
It's kind of bogan. I think it's
Is
a
it?
bogan thing. Yeah.
How about yourself?
That doesn't make sense.
How are you doing?
How about yourself?
Oh, good. How about yourself?
How about you? How about you?
I don't know grammatically where the line is there. I reckon that's acceptable.
Do you reckon?
I think so.
Well, it
How
sounds
about how about
sounds
you?
gross to
How
me.
about yourself?
How about
I think that you could probably use that interchangeably, but maybe it's just so common that I don't realize that it's actually incorrect.
Oh. Well, I don't know. It doesn't sound right to me, so stop it.
Sure.
I also, speaking of cringing, I cringe a little when people put their shoes on without undoing the laces first.
They've slipped them off and then they're sneaking back in without.
I can't do that. I can't look at that. Where do you stand on that? Do you have
I
any
think-
shoes right now that are laced
No,
up?
every shoe that is off my foot is unlaced.
Now this
The
is a
one
person.
exception for that is if, for instance, like you're going to visit someone's house, or maybe a better example is like if you go to an open home or something and you got to take your shoes off. Sometimes, you just don't want to get down there in the dirt at the front of the doorway when there's other people around, and it's like, just for efficiency's sake, they'll come off.
Sure, but you're not putting that shoe on without undoing the laces first.
Look, in that context, maybe I'll give it a tug. But I'm like,
It's an
I'm
outlier.
mostly there with you. I think you need to unlace and relace, mostly just for comfort when the shoe's on, because otherwise I feel like the pressure's all in the wrong place. It's loose in the wrong spots.
The
My
tag's
foot's sliding
probably
around.
curled as well.
The back of the heel might be crunched a bit.
I think that's why it annoys me, because I'm feeling that.
You're an empath.
Discomfort for you. But if some people don't care about it, I still
don't you
feel
realize what your feet are going through?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a weird one. Anyway, stop doing it. Cut it out. Or don't do it around me.
Okay.
Also, don't eat tuna in the office.
that's the most generic myth
That's not
I've
a myth.
ever heard.
I was trying to think of something else that disgusts me, but
Sure.
I actually do eat tuna in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, good segment, Mike.
Good segment. I don't have any myths offhand, but maybe you can help me briefly with a tiny little social question here.
Oh.
So I live on a shared driveway,
Uh-huh.
and there's 7 other houses on this sort of subdivision that they made. And there's people that moved into a house sort of diagonally opposite from me, further down the lane.
Yeah.
And they're sort of our age. And I'm often at the kitchen window staring into the driveway. So I see people coming and going.
Quite an image, that.
Yeah, just standing there for hours. Just dead still, waiting for anything to happen. But there's a guy that is from that house, and he walks up and down the driveway. You know, he's coming to work, he's taking the bins out or whatever. And I feel like I see him too much, that he now thinks that I am always just standing there in the window.
Uh-huh.
And we've graduated to a place of he waves. He gives me an active wave.
I would hate
and
that.
I give him a nod, silent nod. Hey, what's up?
Very stoic.
But we've never exchanged a word.
Yep.
And I feel like he thinks that all I do is stand in the kitchen all day.
Yeah.
Here's when it got awkward. I was out the front in my little courtyard last week putting washing onto a hanger in the sun, and he was walking down the thing.
Okay.
And we saw each other, and I sort of saw him just a little bit after he passed that comfortable chat zone.
Sure.
And he was like, hey, mate. And I, outside, gave him a nod. But my brain didn't fast enough speak a word to him.
It didn't fast enough speak a word.
It didn't fast enough speak a word.
Right.
And so I wonder now whether he thinks, this guy just doesn't want to be friends. Like I'm extending all of these friendly gestures. And I said hey to him, and he didn't even respond.
Right.
Do you think I need to make a lasagna and take it round to his house now? Where are we at?
Definitely don't do that. I think just, first of all, it does sound like you are in the window staring out a lot.
Well,
So-
it's the kitchen. That's where the coffee machine is. That's where the sink is.
But
That's
he
the
doesn't
number
know
one
that.
place.
He doesn't know that.
Well, he could
Okay.
guess because I'm holding dishes.
Maybe put a
Tongs. I'm holding tongs at the window all the time.
Are you naked some of the time?
I'm not naked, but I have only an apron on. So there's a lot of flesh in every other area.
And you're
but it
holding
says kiss the
tongs.
cook, and I'm holding tongs.
And you're going, no, I'm just waiting for the coffee.
And I just stand there dead still, and I just stare and watch as it walks past.
Right. Okay. So that's, be that as it may, he doesn't have this information.
Sure.
So I kind of understand it from his perspective, but I do think that now you kind of have the upper hand. You're kind of like the guy that he wants to win over.
Oh, I see.
I think make him earn it and give it 6 months.
Okay, 6
You know?
months.
6 months.
I see him most days. So that's a lot.
Just keep nodding.
Okay.
He's going to go back to his wife or...
I think it's just a group of friends over there.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. It's a good lesson for him.
Okay.
And then just kind of drip feed. Then one day you're going to go,
Do you think next time I see him, I should open the kitchen window and stick my head out and yell, hello,
why would you do that?
to return the hello that he gave me last week that I had just ghosted him on?
I kind of like that too, because the other suggestion I was going to give you is that you could make him think that you're crazy. And you have like that could also be really fun.
This is a good thing. This is the
just
desirable outcome. Is he think, oh, one of my neighbors is mentally unwell?
Yeah, like unpredictable. I don't know. That sounds fun. So you could just like
spice in my life.
When he is walking past your house and he doesn't even see you, you could leave the house,
yell unhinged things
while he's gone past, and then scream out hello, and then maybe also just explain in a yell the whole
from a distance.
Hey, by the way, and this is you're yelling at him. He's quite a lot. By the way, I'm not always just
in my kitchen.
In my kitchen, holding tongs in an apron and only an apron. And this way, if you're yelling it, other neighbors are going to hear as well. So they kind of
okay. I genuinely do feel like sometimes my inclination is to duck down just so that I'm not always there. But then, I mean, that's such a risky play because if he sees me and then watches me hide, I'm busted then.
Well, then, because then he knows that you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
Which you can't give him that.
No.
This is very complicated, Nick.
Yeah. Maybe I should stick a sign on the fence so that next time he sees, as he walks past, it's like it's a halfway step.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe a piece of lasagna.
A piece of lasagna. An available tub, a self-service, but it's at my fence. So it's not gone so far that I've brought it to his door, but it's a help yourself to the neighbors. Yeah. Cut yourself a wedge of lasagna. And then we can build the relationship from there.
I love that. It's like, it's self-service.
It's like when you drive past a flower stall on the road and it's like on a system, put $5 in the tin and then help yourself to some posies. Here, it's like a community bookshelf where you can grab a book if you need one, grab yourself a sledge of lassie, and off you go.
Sledge of lassie? No. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. I love it. I love it. Love you.
Love you too.
I hope Lauren heard that.